Hello, right, so this is a clearing up video. First off, we're going to talk about what happened yesterday in the comments because obviously that needs to be addressed, and I'm going to explain why it happened so you know that it's not your fault. Ideally, I've also put pictures of Shadow behind so you can look at Shadow while I talk. It's better than looking at one blank screenshot, to be honest, so I might put a few other cats there as well, from different places that I've been and different cats that I've seen. So, yeah, I'll do that actually. But basically, yesterday I had to go see my half brother who, this is gonna get personal, but he sexually assaulted me somewhere before 2014, and seeing him was a lot for me. I saw him on Christmas Day as well, so the day before yesterday, and I guess seeing him for 2 days on the trot, it then eventually got to me. And it caused a very severe panic attack that I don't think I've ever had like that before. That's the worst panic attack I've ever had. And it then led into me thinking about my other brothers and how shit they were as well. But I promise you I'm okay now. I've talked to someone, I finally got through to someone after 4 different helplines told me to go to someone else. But yeah, we finally got there. I'm calm now. Now, I'm also going to respond to the comment that was made yesterday. I've already responded to Aki's personally on my comments, but I'm going to respond to Greg's comment and address anything that they've put in there as well, just to kind of clear things up. So the first point you made was that people make fun of character deaths in movies and shows, like when they make fun of how Chroma Stone died in Ben 10, Alien Force, by comparing it to another character death that died in a similar way in the same show. Making death socially acceptable isn't a good thing, because a lot of things would be socially acceptable, and that's something I really don't understand with a lot of people. I agree, it shouldn't be made socially acceptable, and as you saw from the video yesterday, my brother was killed. I don't like that he was killed. That's not kind of, something I'd really like to happen to anyone. Someone being murdered in your family is a lot, and it doesn't feel real. It really doesn't feel real at all. But I just want to say that it's not normalized in society when it comes to real life. When it comes to real life, murder isn't normalized in any way. And that's where the problem comes in, because in real life, there's not a single bit of it that's normalized. So when it comes to real life, murder is seen as this really, really, really serious thing, which it is, but then you have, on the other hand, rape, that's not seen as serious, and people don't take us serious when we tell them about what happened. I mean, if we're going to talk about my experience, there's a lot of social workers that were involved at the time, and my parents that were involved in the time, and they all just let it happen. Yeah, they all just let it happen. So that was fun, but it wasn't seen as serious in any way, and the seriousness of it was kind of just disregarded and thrown to the side. It didn't really matter, which is why when jokes about rape are made, there's so much more widely disregarded, and a lot of people are disgusted by them, because in the real world, people take murder serious. They take it very, very seriously, and not a single person in the world genuinely looks at a murderer and goes, that person is a good person. Whereas with rapists, people go, actually, no, that's a great person. That's a really nice person. You are wrong. Which is why people don't like those jokes and why they're so much more disgusting than anything else. And when those jokes are made, it just feels like a big kick in the face, I guess, or in the stomach or something. See, widely there's excuses made for people who assault people. For example, oh, but you were both drunk and, it's not his fault. Or he didn't have the capacity to know what he was doing, or, yeah, but what were you wearing? Which is why when those jokes are made, and people make jokes about things that are that serious in any way, people tend to attack that person. Because rape just isn't something to joke about. It's just not something that we can joke about as a society yet, because we haven't got to a point where rape is taken seriously. The minute it's taken seriously, we can start making all these jokes or whatever. I mean, at some point, there's going to be a point where these jokes are widely accepted. But until rape is taken seriously, there's no way that anyone can make any jokes, because it's not seen as serious yet. And if you're making jokes, you're just showing how much you don't think it's serious as well. And I know that that's not your intentions, but it's the way that it comes off to victims. And let's go over the next point. So the next point is the only way that they actually made rape a way to continue the story was Future Diary, Berserk, and I hate the name I'm about to say, redo of Healer. Haven't seen any of those, but I'll definitely look into them. Maybe. Should I look into them? You should tell me if I should look into them. That'd be better than me looking into them. I'm sorry to hear that people blame you for what happened to you. You didn't deserve to go through that, and I'm sorry I made a joke when I didn't know you. I respect that you apologized for that, and thank you. It's nice to hear that. And your next point is similar to what you just said. I know about victims who weren't believed when they were assaulted, but that can also be said for people who were blamed for killing someone they didn't kill, or blamed for not being able to stop someone else from dying to a random murderer. Yes, that happens, but it's not often. People who are blamed for killing someone they didn't kill is a lot more common when we used to kind of blame everyone and anyone, which is years and years and years and years ago. Yes, I can see your point, but as I said, murder is seen as serious, whereas rape isn't. And people being blamed for killing someone isn't something that generally happens anymore, because we've fixed the ways that we do it to make sure that this doesn't happen as much. And people being blamed for not being able to stop someone else from dying is also common in some circumstances. I mean, I was blamed for the fact that my brother was killed, despite the fact that I had no way of stopping him from dying. There was no way of me helping him. I mean, he was, in a completely different place to me. I was in a completely different place to him, and I was still blamed. And it happens, but people don't generally make jokes about people not being able to stop people from dying to a random murderer. And people also don't make jokes about people who were blamed for killing someone they didn't. Generally, we don't make jokes about that. So I can get your point. I can, just to cover that point. Right. Next thing, I actually didn't use Wiki. I used another site that wasn't Wiki to contradict Mew, who used Wiki to try and contradict me. I also used another site to prove that it wasn't CP. See, I see that it says it isn't from Wikipedia now. But yeah, either way, there's certain websites that show like the actual law, and this isn't really a website that shows the physical law. There's certain websites, like for the UK, I know that there's websites like gov.something. I don't know what it is for the US, but I can look into that and possibly make another follow-up if needed. But yeah, no, I get what you mean. I can see that it wasn't Wiki now. That was my fault. I completely didn't read the thing properly. I kind of just jumped into the reaction and, talking about it. And I'm sorry for that. That's my fault. I actually don't get the next part. You're saying with the refund, just because you got scammed on one doesn't mean that all people on it are wrong with their information. Actually, it's a known scam website. I've looked into it after I was scammed on the website, and it is a scam website. That website that you were on, it's a scam website. So please be careful on that website. It is a scam one. It is made to scam people. So just be careful what you kind of click on. Also, I don't really get how I can get consent for a fictional character. How can it be better when I'm 18? I'm saying when a character is 18. If a character is 18 and their actual actress or the people who act them have given you consent to make that stuff, you can. It's still morally wrong, but if they physically gave you consent and they're over the age of 18, it's fine. It's technically fine. It's still morally wrong, but it's technically legally fine. But you can't get consent for a child that's under the age of 16 or even a child that's 16 to 18. It's still morally wrong. The minute they reach 18, that's when they can give proper consent. It's still morally wrong either way. But yeah, we've covered that now, basically. The child, it would have to be someone over the age of 18. You can't physically get consent from a fictional character, but you can get consent from the actress. If the actress has made something online that says that they give you consent, then that's consent. But they have to be over 18. It'll be better when it's 18 because they're not a child and it's not CP anymore. But it is still CP if it's a child and they haven't given consent. You got some very good arguments in some parts, but you did get a lot of things wrong since you never really state the court case I was talking about and saying I use Wiki to back myself up when it isn't true. I apologise, I didn't read into things properly. I was very tired and stressed at the time after the meal that I had, so I guess I didn't really read things properly, and I should have. That's my fault. I've now read into things properly, and I'd like you to correct me again if I get anything wrong. So this is my follow-up video, and if I've got anything wrong on any side, Aki or Greg's side, please let me know, because honestly, I'm still a bit on edge, but I've tried to answer everything that I can. Anyways, I hope you have a good day. This is the second video I've made. There might be one more after this to follow up anything I've missed again, but this is pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed.